Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurifa binti Zaidi and I'm from class DDT P4 and my matrix number 01DDT20F1008. Today I'm going to explain about each chapter in Introduction Network to Network, and to my lecturer name is Puan Rushahada. So I hope you enjoy and you can take a note a little bit how the explanation that I give. So I'm so sorry about it. Yeah, I hope you like it. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurifa binti Zaidi. I'm from class DDT P4 and my matrix number 01DDT20F1008. Today I'm going to explain about introduction to networks of each chapter, which is we have 4 chapter. Chapter 1, explore the network. Chapter 2, network access. Chapter 3, network layer. And chapter 4, application and transportation layer. So we started with chapter 1, explore network. Chapter 1, we have a network component. Network component, which is have host role, peer-to-peer, and device, intermediary networks to device, and network media. First, we're going to explain about host role. Host role is every computer on a network is called host role, and device. In host role, we have client and server. Server are computer that provide information to the end server, like email server, web server, and file server, while client are computer that send the request from the server to the server and retrieve the information, like web page from web server, email from email server. Peer-to-peer, if possible, have a device can be a client or server. Like example, print sharing with PC1 and can file sharing in PC2, which is one printer can be a client for PC1 and PC2 and become a server for PC1 and PC2. And device, the message originated where where it is received, which is the data in the device can be flow through the network and arrive. It called end device. Data which is interconnect to end device, like example switch, wireless access point, and firewalls. Lastly, in network component is network media. Network media is across the network can carry the through a medium which allow the message to travel source destination. In network media we have 3 types, which is metal wires within cable, glass or plastic fiber within cable, and wireless transmission. So metal wire is usually electrical impulse, while glass or plastic uses pulses of the light, and wires mostly used in modulation specific frequencies of the electromagnetic waves, which is like example Wi-Fi. And example for copper, example for metal wire, which is copper, and example for glass and glass or plastic fiber, fiber optic wires. We move to common types of network. Common types in network has 2, LANs and WANs. Okay, I'm gonna to explain what is LANs. LANs is a network instruction of spans or small geographical area, which is used in small area, while WANs a network infrastructure a span wide geography, which is used in a large area, wide area. And LAN in interconnect and device is limited and administrated for a single organization individual and provide to high speed bandwidth internal provides, while interconnect LANs or over the geographical areas and typically administered by more service providers and typically provide is really it can be slower or speed lag between LANs. The internet have two types, which is in internet we use LAN or WAN, LAN and WAN. So LAN can connect each other with using WAN, and the internet have two types, which is intranet and extranet. So let's look at intranet first. Intranet, which is used in private collection of LANs and WANs, which is an organization just specifically organization that use, while extranet provide to secure access their network for the individual, which is only a certain person can use that extranet. Of chapter 1, I'm going to explain about iOS navigation. iOS navigation have two types: primary command modes and configuration modes and sub-configuration mode. In primary command modes, you have a use access mode, which is allow only limited number of basic monitoring. Privileged access mode allowed to access all command and features, and identify the CLI prompt that end with symbol hashtag. Moving on the configuration mode and sub-configuration mode, we have global configuration mode, which is used as a configuration option of the device. For global configuration, line configuration mode use configure console like SSH, Telnet, and AUX access. Interface communication mode mostly used to configuration to switch port or router interface. We're moving on to chapter 2, which is network access. Network access, as you can see, have a three subtopic here: physical layer, data link layer, and Ethernet switching. I'm going to explain first subtopic, which is physical layer. Physical layer have a copper cabling, UTP cabling, fiber optic cabling, and wireless media. So let's move on. What is physical layer? Physical layer is a transport bit across network that accept a complete frame from the data link layer and encode the series. And last step of the calculation process. Characteristics physical layer is implemented in hardware and are governed by many organizations, like include ISO, IE, and their ITU.T. So let's done about what is physical layer. So moving on to copper cabling. Copper cabling is most common types cabling used in networks today, and inexpensive, easy to install, and so has a low resistance electric current low. Have a limitation and mitigation in attenuation the longest electrical, and the signal is suspended interferes, while mitigation is strict to adherence. The cable length limit the millimeter and assurance, and some kind copper medicated is EMI, RFID using metallic, and some kind of copper cable medicated crosstalk, which is twisting in the circuit pair wire. Have the types of copper cabling have three, which is unsheared twisted pair, which is UTP cable, shielded twisted pair, STP cable, and coastal cable. UTP cable. UTP cable has 4 pairs of color codes. Copper wires twisted together in case is possible, and have a plastic and no sheet. In use to UTP realize the following no properties: limit or crosstalk, which is the limit following the crosstalk, which have a cancellation. Each wire a pair or use opposite polarity, and relation in twist per foot in each wire. UTP cable standard and connector. Fiber optic cable. Fiber optic cable, properties of fiber optic: enough common as UTP because its expense involved. Some network ideal for some network scenarios and transmit data over longer distance at higher bandwidth and any other network media. So finish for physical layer. Now we moving on to data link. As we can see, have two topologies and data link frame. So I'm going to explain what is data link. Data link is layer that responsible for communicate between end device and network interface card. Allow the upper layer protocol to access the physical layer media and speculated layers for three packets like IPv4 and IPv6 to into the layer 2, which is layer frame, and perform to error detection and reject the corrupt frame. So then about data layers. So moving on to topologies. Topologies of a network is arrangement and relation to start the network device that interconnection between them. Have two types of topologies, which are physical topologies and logical topologies. Physical show typical topologies connection have how device interconnected, but while logical is identify the virtual connection between device using device. Topologies have one topologies which is have three common one topologies, which is point to point, hub and spoke, and mesh. So then about topologies, we going to the what is data link frame. Data link frame is a speculated data link layer with header trailer from a data link frame. Has data link frame have a three part, which is header, data, and trailer. So which is header? Header is frame is operate in the data link layer in the physical layer. It is a family of networking technologies that defined in IEEE 802.2 and 802.3 standard. So data link have internet have a data link sublayer, MAC sublayer, internet frame fields, internet frame field. So in internet MAC address, we use MAC address hexadecimal, which is MAC consists of 48 bits binary values and expressed by use 12 hexadecimal values. So internet MAC address inline every network device connected in SIM and share media. MAC addressing provides the method and the device identification at data links layer of OSI model, and have a frame processing, unicast MAC address and broadcast MAC address, multicast MAC address that sits internet frame, and MAC address table, which is a layer 2 internet switch use layer 2 MAC address to make forwarding decision to complete unaware data protocol being carried the data portion the frame, which is examine the source MAC address and find the destination MAC address of in MAC address table, which is a filtering frame, which is a switch receive frames the device device. That's it. Finish about chapter 2, which is called network access. Right now I'm going to move on to chapter 3. So right now I'm going to explain about network layer. Network layer have a 4 network layer: basic router configuration, IPv4 address, and WLAN concept. So moving on network layer. Network layer is a provide service to allow the device to exchange. So what is so this here the here the subtopic in network layer, which is IPv4 format. IPv4 format is a version is version 4 while IPv6 is principal to network layer communication to protocol. The network layer forms 4 basic operation, which is addressing and addressing and divide, encapsulation, routing, and de-encapsulation. So characteristic of IP, it means have a low overhead, and you may have to describe like connectionless, best effort, and media independent. So the connectionless, which is does not establish to connection before sending to the packet, and no control information needed. So best effort, which is we guarantee the deliver of the packets and reduce the overhead, since it's not a mechanism. Media independent cannot manage to fix and delivery and corrupt the packet. So here, what is IPv packet? Packet header, which is a primary communication protocol of network layer, and header, the network header has many purpose, like ensure the packet to send the correct direction and contain information for network processing in various field. IPv packet header characteristic is binary, contains several files and information. WS is read from the left and to right for 5 bits per line. So IPv6 packet pool. IPv6 packet is was developed by Internet Engineering Task Force and overcome limitation of IPv4. Header simply but not smaller, and the header is surfaced by 40 bytes and octets long, and certificate may also contain extension header and provide the optional network layer information and optional. So host router, which is the packet always create the source. Each host device create the byte or routing table and can send the packet to the following. The source device determines whether the destination are local to remote, and IPv4 source is on IP and subnet mask along the destination IP address, while IPv6 uses the network address the prefix advertising the local routers. So then about the network layers. Now we moving on to the basic router configuration. It's basic router configuration. Configure the device name, secure with universal access mode, and secure with user access mode, and can secure remote and encrypt all plain text to the password. So configure interface. So moving on to configure internal router interface. Router interface, which is the router interface that include using using following command. Like, it's a good practices to use the description command and add information about the network connected the information, and no shutdown command to activate the integration. So it's mostly like configuration router interface example, which is like the common configuration interface as G0 -0 for router 1 and router 1. So yeah, can verify the interface communication with use command show IP interface brief or show IPv6 interface brief command. So yeah, how about configuration default gateway? Default gateway is used when a host send a packet to device and another network, and default gateway can address generally to the router interface attached to local. So that's it about basic configuration. Now we moving on to the IPv4 address. So right now moving on to about chapter 3 network layer, but subchapter for network layer IPv addressing. What is IPv addressing? IPv addressing have IPv address structure, IPv unicast, broadcast and multicast, and subnet and IPv network. So let's move on about IPv address structure. IPv address structure is a 32-bit hierarchical address that is made up of 4 network portion and host portion. So a subnet is used to determine the network and host portion. It defines a network to host portion of IPv address. The subnet must compare to IPv6 address a bit for a bit from left to the right. So the prefix length in IPv address structure less cumbersome method that used to identify. So determining the longest logical AND. So IPv unicast, IPv for unicast, broadcast, and multicast. Unicast is transmission to send the packet to the one destination to IP address, while broadcast termination to sending a packet or just all other destination IP address, while multicast is transmission to sending a packet or the multicast address group. So then about IPv. So right now, what is subnet use? IPv4 subnet use is most easily subnetted outer boundary of 8, 16, and 24. It first 24. So then about IPv4, right now moving about WLAN's concept.